If New Balance only made one running shoe, it would be the 1080. It is their best running shoe, period. With fine-tuned underfoot cushioning and an overall streamlined look, the Fresh Foam X 1080 V12 represent a subtle but impactful evolution of the flagship Fresh Foam running shoe. The 1080 offers a supportive second skin style fit with an engineered Hypoknit upper for a more streamlined overall design.
That your skin can bring you so much pain. Now I hear you say you got the best of both ways. Won't you come and take a walk in my shoes and tell me if you take my place?
Welcome to episode number 234 of the Inside Running Podcast. Thank you for joining us for another week. Big show coming at you this week. There's news out of Hamburg, the marathon over there. Some news out of Japan with our female half marathoners racing over there. Some Run the Tan news, listen to question, Moose on the Loose. A bit of news in what's coming up as well. So thanks for giving us some of your attention for another week. If you're out on a run, hope that we can keep you company for the next hour or so. Boys, welcome to this week's show. Julian Spence down in Anglesea. How are you going?
Going well, mate. Going well. Still care about running. I do. So I'll be valuable, hopefully. Now I'm trying to justify being here.
I actually had some mates tune in last week for the first time to the podcast.
Oh, yeah?
And they were going why is one of the guys talking about bike riding? What's going on there? He's like, I thought you were all runners. And I'm like, he's good at slagging off people later on in the show, so just skip his week if he gets talking about that.
Best runner on the show.
I don't think they'll tune in again, but it was good to have it for 1 week.
Oh, best runner on the show, best cyclist on the show.
Best marathon PB on the show, that's about it, I reckon. Most Australian singlets are on the show. Give you that one. Another co-host.
Probably smartest bloke on the show.
IQ's pretty high. Best businessman on the show, maybe. Give you that. My other co-host up in Canberra. It's race week for him, Moose. Bradley Croker, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Brady. Sort of lost track of what day it is with school holidays, public holidays, but I'm pretty sure I've got to go back to work this week.
Yep.
What are you the best at
back
on the
tomorrow,
show?
Crokes.
Crokes?
1500.
Oh, yeah. Best short man.
Dodging races.
Oh, best fashion on the field guy.
Dodging races, Brady. I think I've beaten you every time we've raced, so maybe you want me to dodge a few more.
Richest guy on the show.
Richest guy. Bloke who does the least work.
Pays his house off just with spare change.
Anyway, what's going on up there, Crokes? You nervous about this weekend?
Not really. No.
Up and about?
I'm all right. Yeah, body's good. Feeling good.
Tell us about the week leading into race week.
Yes, I did an hour on Monday morning, 4:13s, and then that afternoon jumped on the treadmill for 35 minutes. Must have had it on 12, somewhere between 12 and a half, 13k an hour, so 4:40s. So I only ran once on the Monday. That was Tuesday morning. I did the treadmill run, and I was obviously on school holidays, and it was one of those days where you get out of bed in the morning, and I prefer doing afternoon sessions because my body definitely moves better in the afternoons. But I had all day to do a session, and so I decided, I'll do a treadmill run this morning, and then I'll feel better in the afternoon, and then I'll go and do my session. And that feeling of just you get to sort of lunchtime and you're like, shit, I should have just trained this morning because the session would have been over and I could have really just relaxed. So ended up going out Tuesday afternoon for my session, which ended up being quite enjoyable actually, a bit of light rain, temperature was good, no wind. So that was my hill session. So I did 2 sets of 8 hills. The hills take me around 40 odd seconds. Jog back down in about 70. After I do 8 of them, I give myself 3 minutes recovery, and then I do another set of 8. So I hadn't done this session for about a month, and definitely felt a lot stronger than the previous time I did it. Felt really good. So I find I hate hill sessions, but bloody hell, they're good. Like it set me up for the rest of the week. Like every run, the rest of the week felt awesome because you're just so activated and everything feels easy after you've run hills.
You're so activated.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. You never heard that? Never heard that before.
You're so activated. I've heard about almonds.
Yeah. So your muscles are activated. Yeah.
I mean, like
anyway.
it's talk me through this. So is this like a neuromuscular like activation? Is this what you're talking about?
Yeah, like you're recruiting more muscle fibers, and so like even the cool down, feels amazing because you're running on a flat surface. Like it's almost like you're going to do a weight session, right? So I don't know, 50 kilos, right? Not that I could bench press 50 kilos, but then you lower the weight, so you start doing bench press. Then you feel amazing because you've put your body through so much extra load doing the 50 kilos that when you start doing 20, it feels amazing.
Yeah, but you'll be sore the next day.
Yeah. I was sore from the hills, but like that's the feeling you get. You know that feeling where you've done something heavy and then you go back to something lighter and you just feel so much more efficient at it.
I know what you're saying for sure. Like I understand that. But the rest of the week, like you just, part of that is like muscle damage and being sore and sluggish for me anyway.
Yeah.
You've triggered his internet.
The fact that they were short.
Moose.
His internet's fucked.
You've got him worked up and it's triggered the internet.
I don't know. So
he's got you, Crokes. You can't hear.
Nah, I've worked it. I called him out on the fucking activated arm and shit.
And Telstra's cut his internet because of it. He did run 4:05 the next 2 days though.
Yeah, is that a good thing for him though?
I'll go through his week. Next day,
how activated he should be.
22k at 4:05 pace for 90 minutes over Mulligan Hills. Day after that, 45 minutes in strides at 4:05 pace as well. Another lap of Mulligans the next day in 4:13s.
This is a fast week for you.
That brings him to the second workout of the week. You there, Crokes? You want me to keep going?
No, you keep going. I actually like you doing it better.
This is his week, not my week.
Yeah, no, I like it. I enjoy it.
Well, this one's going to trigger me because on the Friday, his workout was 3 sets of 8-minute tempo, 2-minute solid, 90-second jog. So 33 minutes in total, but he's got all his times here in kilometres per hour.
Oh,
so
what?
17.5 kilometres per hour for the 8 minutes, and then he kicked it up to 19k an hour for the 2 minutes, which must be around, 3:05 pace?
Yeah, it's
3:07, something like that?
It's on a treadmill, mate. It doesn't mean shit anyway.
Yeah, and then 14.5k an hour for the 90 seconds jog. So, he's got in there, and 9.7k in total at 3:24s. And then some easy jogging around Mulligan's, 4:07 the day after. See, I don't know how he jogs at 4:07 today out of a workout.
This is like, he keeps repeating his own errors, doesn't he? Like he's fallen in this trap before.
And then Sunday long run was 2 hours at 4:03, 29.68k. Now tell me this, because when I told my boys yesterday who were racing Sydney 10 that the week out we cut the long run a bit shorter just to start prepping for the race, so they did an hour 45 instead of their normal 2 hours. But Crokes, and we averaged like 4:18. Crokes still averaged 4:03 for 2 hours a week out. I don't like that, to be honest.
Find me the day that he's recovering properly out of that. Like, he's running fast every day. He's running too fast every day. He's up and about though, and I like that about him. Like, it's the first time we've seen him up and about for a long time. So, but I just worry because, you know, that like you said, that long run, you're in taper mode there, 7 days out. This is your first race in like 4 years. You're not taking it seriously if you're doing that sort of long run, are you?
Yeah, there's a couple of doubles at like 4:37s, but yeah, his main runs of the week are all under 4:10.
Yeah,
but that's just biomechanically how he moves.
Well, we always say that, man. Our footy players come in the store say, "Nah, I just move better at that pace."
Yeah,
like I bet you don't.
Wasn't looking at me watching. That's just what happened. Just rolling that pace. Yeah,
that's amateur hour. That sort of excuse.
So that's his week. He's hit 150k for the second week in a row.
I mean, he's going pretty good though. I'm sitting here on the couch, not running at all. I've got to be careful, but he's going really well.
Are you concerned he's pushing it to look like he's going better than he is though?
what concerns me is that we saw him go through like a 3-year hole, and I think that was because he used to run too fast all the time, and now I'm worried that here he is. I'm worried that he's going to repeat the same mistakes again. Bradley, you there? No, you're not there.
He's not there.
Oh, so tight, pays for the worst internet bandwidth. Yeah, anyway. So, I don't know. Let's talk about your week.
All right. I had, on Monday, I went and did this race in Stawell. It's called the Herb Hedeman. Have you heard of it?
I actually, who is Herb Hedeman?
I'm not sure, to be honest, and I probably should know that. I'd say someone in the tradition of handicap pro running who's pretty significant. Let me do some research and tell you that next week. But I did that on the Monday, and then I came back to it. So really low Ks for the day Monday. I think I only did 8K for the day because kind of a midday race, so I didn't want to run before I drove over and didn't want to run when I drove home just because I had to spend some time doing dad stuff. You know what it's like when you got kids and stuff now that you've given up half a day to do running stuff. You've got to make sure you balance it out, and I definitely didn't want to go out for a run when I got home. And then Tuesday morning I woke up and watched Boston, and then I didn't get out for a run until midday. Carly kind of went out for breakfast, I think, that day, and I was happy just to not do my run until she got home. And then I actually went out for a run on that day, and it was raining the whole way. So I had my phone in a little plastic pocket because I couldn't connect my little MP3 player to the headphones, and I really wanted to listen to music. So I took my phone in a plastic pocket so it wouldn't get wet. And then I got about 10K in, and Carly actually called me, which is strange because she never calls me when I'm out running. But because Hudson had an allergic reaction at daycare to something he ate, so they were taking him up to the hospital, and Carly was heading up there. So it was kind of like one of those ones where I was 10 minutes from home and had to get home pretty quick because we still had Olivia, someone needed to look after her. So that was a bit of a weird run. It was 50.
Wait, so the guys were waiting, so Carly and Olivia were waiting, and Hudson until you got back before she could go?
No, so Hudson was at daycare, and daycare had called Carly to say he's having an allergic reaction.
Shit,
we reckon. He's actually booked in to see some specialists in Melbourne in June. It takes a while to get in there, and we know he's been having these reactions, and he just kind of rashes up around the mouth, but nothing more serious has happened yet. And he's kind of got a whole list of foods that he can't eat, but there must have been, and the daycare know that, but there must have been something that slipped through. So he kind of just got that rash, which panicked them more than us because we'd seen it before. So then they kind of rang Carly saying, can you come and get him? We don't think it's bad enough to call an ambulance, but we probably recommend you take him up there. So I kind of ran home so I could be with Olivia, so Carly could then take Hudson up to emergency. So that was mid-run, and then she ended up being up there for 3.5 hours. She had the rough end of the stick there. Just, what it's like an emergency. They saw him pretty quick when he got in there. Just the nurse did, and then she had to wait for the doctor, her time to come around with the doctor. So, a long day for her. And so that brought
especially with a kid in the hospital.
Yeah.
Cool. What do they do for that? When you're having a reaction, they give you some sort of medicine, or an
antihistamine kind of thing.
Yeah.
So first they just checked all his pulse and stuff to make sure his heart wasn't racing and he didn't have any difficulty breathing or anything like that. They did that right when he got there, and then the rest of the time it was just by the time he saw the doctor there was no rash even there, but they just gave a prescription for some of that stuff. So then so my Monday and Tuesday is 19 Ks between them, so pretty low. Wednesday around an hour 45, and I did put in my notes here that New Balance 1080, that's a good shoe. I'm a big fan of that shoe.
We're talking about that this month?
I think we talked about it last month, didn't we? I think we're talking about the 880 next episode.
Oh, okay.
But I'm enjoying this. I'm probably 150k in, maybe 100k into the 1080, and really enjoying that softness there. So that was an hour 45, 424s. Got out for 7k in the afternoon there at 4:39s. The next day I did, so this must be Thursday, I did an hour and 10 and then some strides. And one of those ones where I couldn't really be bothered doing the strides, and I thought about ditching them, but then after you finish it, you never regret doing strides. You just feel so much better, almost activated. Can I use that word again? You just feel like you're covering the ground nice and well. And, they're good for us. Every good coach prescribes strides for a reason because they are good for you. The next day I got out with Archie. This was Friday morning. He was doing 8x1k. I didn't quite jump into that because I was still feeling a bit, I don't know why, but just this is Friday and that race was Monday, but I was still feeling just a bit tight and like I wasn't covering the ground really well, even though I just said that the strides helped, but not too much. So I didn't jump in with his workout. Instead, I just did 8 by 3 minutes, just around that like 3:10 pace off 60 seconds jog, and kind of because he was having a minute between his 1Kers, and me and I could go past him and give him a bit of someone to chase, and we could see each other throughout the workout. But I just put in my notes here that felt sluggish, so didn't bother flogging it. So 9K at 3:26 is there. Saturday was extremely hungover. I got out for 30 minutes at...
Extremely?
Yeah. I'm just...
Throw up?
Yeah, I don't want to admit it, but yes.
The night before or in the morning?
Both. Disgusting.
Oh, damn.
Might even cut that because I want people to think higher of me. But
no. That's just real talk. What happened?
I just had some friends visiting from Bendigo, and we went and had some drinks and met up with Archie and his girlfriend and Glenn, who I trained with. They popped in for a while, and then I think happy hour got the better of me. He went too hard too early, and then went out for dinner, and then ended up drinking some what are they? There was some drink I didn't even know what they were, which is probably stupid.
Some like shots or something.
No, it was a drink with Coke in it. Sailor Jerry's, is that something?
Just some rum or something.
You know that? Sailor Jerry's?
Sounds like a rum. I've never heard of it.
Yeah, all the kids seem to know it. I didn't know what it was though.
I've never heard of it.
And then whiskey on the rocks to finish off at the junction there. Probably not good. So felt sorry for myself all the Saturday. Got out for 30 minutes in the afternoon, just tick the box. And then Sunday I had a shocker as well. 2-hour long run. Beautiful morning. But rolled my ankle bad like 30 minutes in. And one of those ones where like the whole group, there was 4 of us there, but everyone, including me, kind of like I yelped a bit. And then everyone's like, ooh, that looked bad. And then I was probably limping for a K and a half, 2K, just trying to get it back moving all right. And I got the 2 hours done. Originally I was planning to do like 2 hours 20, 2 hours 30. But I just cut it at 2 hours. And I also fell over. I slipped over in a puddle and just landed on my hands, and then my hands were all muddy, and same thing. All the boys looked behind. They're like, what are you doing on the ground? And I'm like, I just need to finish this run before something else happens. So 2 hours at 4:17. I was the only one that fell over, the only one that rolled their ankle. But I'm sure the other guys had a good time for about 134K for the week. So, the high highs of Stawell on Monday to the low lows of falling over in puddles out at Barmer Forest on the Sunday.
And throwing up.
Yeah. So I got to remember that I'm not 20 years old anymore.
That would be hard with two young kids waking up like that. That would be real hard.
The shame you feel being useless, to contribute to your family, to help out around the house. So
How's the wife
at
that point?
I came good around midday, and then I could contribute to the second half. But I wasn't proud of my actions, and from that night I've given up drinking.
Oh, I love that.
So I'm done. I'm going to limit myself to 2 beers only from now on.
I know how bad that feels. The best bit is we all know exactly how that feels.
Yeah.
And it's still so funny.
It is. It is when it happens to somebody else.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's my week.
Pretty good week by you.
It's nothing
considering
special.
You put yourself nearly in the hospital.
Yeah. Bradley, are you back?
I'm back.
Oh, are you?
Well, you are.
We've recapped your week.
We did it for you.
Did you hear any of that?
No, I didn't hear any of it, but I'm not surprised because Julian likes to just tell you how you should be feeling on sessions.
Oh, here we go. Careful, the internet's going to go again.
He's been stewing on this.
For fuck's sake, I can't believe that you didn't understand the word activation. And with the whole DOMS thing, I would argue that I get more DOMS when I'm running fast on a flat. There's a hell of a lot less impact when I'm running up a hill.
You don't think... Mate, listen, you told me you recruit more muscle fibers going up a hill. What do you think that means? You're going to be sore the next day?
Well, not necessarily, no. Just because you recruit them, it doesn't mean you tear them.
Okay, so they sit dormant for however long. Then you recruit them.
So you're trying to tell me how I felt after it. You're trying to tell me that I was sore. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that that's what happens when you do hill repeats.
I'm saying for a guy that gets on this show every week and talks about how he's the wisest guy around, who's averaged about 70K a week for the last 18 months, there's not much wise about that.
You keep doing your thing, big boy.
Boys, I'll keep doing my thing. Podcast. Just hold out.
Pretty sure I'll be running faster than your last 10K this weekend.
All right. Well, hey, you're the man. And when you go uphill, how about you do them before your next race? Just go and do some hill repeats.
Did them on Tuesday.
Didn't you listen? You don't want to hear what Brady said about your long run then.
I don't care.
Bradley, question about your long run. Do you, in the past, have you cut it back a week out from a race?
Not really, no. Okay. So I ran 2018. I ran, I think, 29.50 at Sydney 10, and it was a Saturday race. I ran 30K the Sunday before.
You did, yeah, okay.
At Stromlo. Which is hillier and harder.
Yeah, I was saying I cut it back for Archie and Nath, who were prepping for the same race. And I thought that was pretty common practice.
Yeah, that's something you don't do. The difference is they're going up there to try and win it. Like, I'm going in there to basically, I've been training a particular way for the last 8 weeks, and I feel like I've developed some pretty good strength, aerobic capacity, but I haven't raced in 13 months. So, like, I'm not out there to break bloody records. Like it's to see where I'm at.
So you think that if someone's not there to break a record, it doesn't matter what they do a week before the race? It's
a Sunday race. I've got a whole week. I'm going to do some 800s and 400s tomorrow night and then jog the rest of the week. You don't reckon that's enough taper for a 10K? And if you notice my Sunday run, it wasn't over the hills that I do at Mulligan's. It was, a lot of it was on the concrete, which is faster to start with for the same effort, and was actually easier than a couple of weeks ago. Like, my long runs are getting easier.
Yeah, it was 220 metres, I think, compared to like your 350, 380 of usual elevation gain I'm talking about.
But Brady, I cut my... If someone's racing like the first time in a long time, I do cut the run back on 1 week before.
Yeah. Hey, more than one way to skin a cat. Brad, do you want to say anything about your workout? Your 8-6, what was it, off the top of my head? I did have it up here. The treadmill one?
No, it's all right.
Because we'd heard about your heels.
No, it's all good.
All right, Julian Spence, tell us about your week.
Oh, I actually didn't even get mine up because all I did was cycle. And, there's not much point talking about that. We're on a running podcast. But got out, mountain biked a few times. I did go and see Exercise Fizz this week, who ran me through his theories a little bit on how, I guess, he prescribes rehab and what he would do in my case. So we didn't really get to any practical advice yet. I have to go back and see him for that. But yeah, it's sort of good to hear different thoughts on it. It's like a bit of a different alternative sort of theory to the common, I guess, physiotherapy approach, or maybe one of the theories that the VMO controls the patellar gliding, and we should be focusing on doing a lot of VMO quad strengthening work. Whereas he was, his theory sounds like a lot more, let's recruit the other muscles instead of the quad, because the quad is a heavy knee load. I'm going to go back and see him to get more practical stuff. But the obviously, the knee itself, there is bone bruising. So I'm on a set return plan. You can't go too early on that. So that's what I'm waiting for.
So this guy was the Steve Monaghetti connection from last week?
He helped Mona. So Mona came back a few years ago, and he was running every run with his phone, and it was beeping like a metronome. Did I tell you that last time?
No.
And so he was having Mona run to a particular cadence that was part of his treatments, like recovery or return to run program. And so we obviously complained about it a lot. Mona would rock up and have his phone on loud, just beeping, however many beats a minute he wanted. He would run in the group with the phone beeping, so everyone gave him shit about it. But look, he held fast. He continued to do it, and now he's killing it again, Mona. And yeah, he does sort of. He did tell me that this fella got him back going again. So I will give it a crack. I just need to get back. Like, it's hard to get an appointment, and so the first appointment, it's a lot of theory and explaining, which is good because it sets a bit of a base for the whole like buy-in. And then the next time, my next appointment, I'll get more instructional advice.
Well, it's promising. And then is this different to what Ali's prescribing though? So how does the relationship between the two work?
Yeah, that's a good point actually, because Ali is obviously a physiotherapist, and you can be open to other ideas. Like, I'm sure she is. She partly agrees with it, and then she partly disagrees with it as well. I wound her up a little bit initially.
That's why I asked the question, actually. I was wondering how that was going to go.
Yeah, I wound her up, got her a bit, got her like real up and about, kind of firing about it. But I trust Ali as well. This is probably just, like, I actually feel like I might have gone a little early seeing this guy and not fully giving the quad strength stuff enough of a go, considering that I think it got me back from the surgery pretty well, and it seemed to work in that regard, and then I stopped doing it, and then I got hurt. So actually there's quite a bit of credibility to what Ali did for me, and that's why, like, so I went and saw this EP, and now I don't have an appointment for another month, so I'm not going to fully throw out what Ali's been telling me or anything, and I still ask Ali for advice all the time. I kind of have to make a bit of a decision, I think, as to which to buy into for the next block, because it is quite conflicting in terms of what a strength and conditioning program looks like.
Yeah, you want that full commitment to one or the other.
Yeah, there's no point going halfway. That's like having a halfway buy-in to a coaching program. It ain't going to work.
Yeah. Well, should we thank some Patreon supporters?
Let's do it.
Trying to kick us off. I haven't got much on your one, Moose. So I'm hoping.
Did you work out where Murrumbina was, though?
Yeah, near Clayton in Melbourne.
Oh, yeah, I don't really know where that is either.
Yeah, well, that was I swear it's the athletics track Glenn Huntley won.
Yeah, if you tell me track names or cross-country courses, I'll know.
Oh, no, sorry. It's near Caulfield, Malvern, Oakley.
Oh, yeah. See, we know Caulfield, don't we?
Yeah, the race course there.
Yeah. Hannah.
Pretty good suburb, isn't it?
Caulfield. I had a physio there. That's where Kev Lieberthal used to work there. That's where I used to drive my bike out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's an athletics track there. Anyway, Hannah's from there.
Hannah, yeah, and she's got nothing really public. Maybe has a surname with a B. Sorry, Hannah. We've got nothing. Got no love for you.
Crokes, you don't know any Hannahs that live in Victoria?
No, I don't.
Yeah.
My mum's name's Hannah, but no H on the end. Just H-O-double-N-A.
I didn't know your mum's name was Hannah. Learn something every day, don't you? Tell us about your one, Bradley, over in Paris.
Yeah, so I've got Jean, or it could be Jean, coming from Paris, but there's no last name. But they did write in a really nice message. So just a quick note to thank you for the podcast. It's fun and entertaining, but also really insightful about running. I've tried to follow some of your advice and training principles and managed to achieve PB after PB over 5 marathons, from 3:29 down to 2:57 in 3 years. I've also really enjoyed learning about Australia and the running culture down under. In case you do not make it on the Olympic team in 2024, I have faith, but still want to visit Paris. Let me know and I'll take you running. Thanks very much for producing this show every week. It's great. And Jean or Jean assures us that they won't be starting up a copycat podcast. So thanks for your support.
Well, we wouldn't know anyway if it's in French. And we wouldn't see the advertising, and we don't really know much about French running. But yeah, appreciate John just not pinching our idea like the UK fellas did.
How good's the improvement though? 3:29 to 2:57.
Yeah, that's solid.
Take that.
3 years ain't long,
yeah.
And especially COVID years when you're not racing much through that time.
It's a good improvement. You been to Paris? Oh yeah, you went to the World Champs there, Crokes. You been there, Moose? Paris?
Nah, never been there.
Good spot. Airbnb where I stayed was tiny though. That's the only thing I remember about it. Just a real tiny room.
Real tourist city.
Saw the Eiffel Tower. Went to the art gallery there. What's it called? The Louvre.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a few there, isn't there? Like,
Arc de Triomphe, is that what it's called?
What's the Triomphe? Yeah.
Stayed near there.
Sacré-Cœur.
I didn't see that one.
What's that movie with
Notre Dame?
Tom Hanks?
No, I missed that as well. I don't know. I was only there for a couple of days. Actually, I spent too long just getting hammered with Josh Harris when I was there and seeing most of the touristy things. Anyway, actually watched the Western Bulldogs win that grand final in Paris.
Oh, yeah. That's a while ago.
That was a while ago. I want to thank Lewis. He also doesn't have a last name. It must be like no last name weeks. None of these people left their last names. But I've got all his PBs. 17.25 for 5, 36.38 for 10, 1:20.34 for the half, and 2:55.55 for the full marathon. He wants your opinion, Moose, on which one of those is the best.
The half, the 10K is the best.
Yeah.
The 10K.
Yeah, okay.
What's your opinion?
I don't know. Well, probably not the marathon, is it? The half's pretty good, 1:20. Yeah, I don't know. Not as good as that as you are. A low mileage guy because he's just had a baby and was wondering if we could give him one bang for his buck workout to get his 5K PB time down. He hasn't got much time to train. What's one quick workout that's going to help his 5K? Got one for me, Brad?
Quarters is always good.
Yep. I'm going to say monofartlek. I reckon that, 10, 15 minute warm up, monofartlek, 10, 15 minute cool down. That's good for you for 5K strength and speed. Moose?
Moose fartlek, baby. 5 off or 8 by a minute hill repeats.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Two good ones there. Thanks, Lewis, for your support. All the other Patreon supporters over there, keeping the show alive each week. Inside Rain Podcast on Patreon. Search it or go patreon.com/Inside Rain Podcast. Heaps of rewards. Still got that option for Road to New York. A few people making the most of that opportunity. If you sign up between now and the end of April, you get access to all of that. Open it all up. I think there's like 9 episodes there. So probably like 10 hours worth of content.
Do you know what it takes you through? Like it takes you through the St. Moritz training camp.
World Champs, did you know that?
Yeah, that's the thing.
They both ran their 10K PBs in that build-up too.
A few real shocks as well, and some workouts that didn't go to plan, some workouts that were amazing. It talks you through Sinead's training, which if you want to learn a little bit about how Nick Brado prepares his athletes for both marathon and 10K, you can hear that. And then you can hear how it kind of blends together as well.
Yeah, there was a comment. I'm trying to find it here off the top of my head. I swear I copy and paste it somewhere. But there was a comment from one listener, Daniel. He said, love this series. The respect between the crew is obvious, but it's so interesting to contract the Bedot versus Spence marathon training programs for different athletes at different stages. So that was a bit of feedback from the listeners at the time.
It was actually a great time to see that trip. The girls were training together. You had some firepower in that group doing track workouts. Camille Baskin was there. Susan Crummins was there. And obviously Sinead and Ali all training for the same kind of race, that 10K or that World Champs, basically at Doha, as well as Sinead and Ali doing the New York City. But seeing Susan Crummins and following through that series on what she did and then how she ran that that 10K at Doha, I don't think I've seen an athlete with more harder working, more pretty much the most, well, I'm going to say talent. I say talented because she did it off not much, but just phenomenal athlete.
It's all there. Some good insights. And you were there as well. So there's a lot of in-person recording.
Yeah, well, it was all in person. Well, most of it was.
Until they flew to New York, I think,
Yeah.
Running news, boys. I'll start off at Hamburg. Happy with that?
Yeah.
This was exciting because can someone help me with the pronunciation here? Is it year law?
That's pretty good.
Yellensurf, Yule law.
she was making her debut. So she ran 29:14 on the roads and 63:51. So like super quick road racer. And she went out and she ran the fastest ever women's marathon debut. She ran 2:17:23 to break the course record there. She won the race by 9 minutes. So I'm not sure if like the elite athlete budget just spent all their money on her and then had a big gap, because that's huge, isn't it? Whoever wins marathons by 9 minutes.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
She broke the Ethiopian and the German all-comers record as well. So that was amazing to see her debut, and there was a lot of hype around it going in. And that stacks up. Well, you'd probably expect she's going to go even quicker next time, wouldn't you?
Well, that'd be a top 5 all time, would it?
Yeah, it was. I should have had that somewhere written here, but I can't tell you off the top of my head. I think it was 5th all time.
Yeah, that's quick. that's
maybe the fastest. Oh no, it wasn't a women's only race. Yeah, I'll find that out when we're talking in a second. And then in the men's, did you see this finish? 2 guys across the line together.
Nah.
Cyprian Katut, he ran at 2:04:47, and Ugandan Stefan Kisser, he finished 1 second behind, so he ran 2:04:48. They both broke Eliud Kipchoge's 2:05:30 course record that he set there in 2013. And I got a feeling that was Kipchoge's debut, Hamburg, before he started going to the World Marathon Majors.
He did a few of the smaller ones.
Yeah.
I think that was a Ugandan national record too, by Kisa.
Yeah. So some depth there. Past interviewees, I'm going to hopefully catch up with him soon. Andy Buchanan ran 2:12:23, and Caden Shields from New Zealand ran 2:13:21. Both got some good airtime because they were in the lead pack with the lead Germans. And the lead Germans ended up falling off the pace, but those two, Andy stuck to it, and Caden fell away a bit, but still a PB for Caden, and good debut for Andy. Any thoughts on him before we try to get him in here? I was up and about listening to seeing that 2:12. Bendigo Bats on fire.
It's his best result, like 2:12:23 debut. The thing for me here is the debut bit. It's rare that you nail a marathon that early.
He's not young,
so
though,
I was
Andy.
impressed with that. Yeah, he might not be young, but he's young for a marathon, and it's his first one. And you have to learn the marathon. Most people do. They have to go through, I guess, a few bad experiences, or not bad experiences, but learning experiences, because it's difficult to know how the body should feel at 20K or 25K, at 35K, like what you have left to give. There's always a bit of like caution involved with that. And so I thought, like, to debut like that is very impressive. That's big raps for Andy on that one. I think with his pedigree in running, his cross country, I guess skill set, the skill set for a cross country runner tends to convert quite well for marathoning. He's got a big future in this event.
Yeah, I was impressed with how he held it together. Like, it wasn't like he was super conservative through halfway, and we've seen a lot of people in the past, go through in that sort of 65 minutes or 65 and a half or so, and then really sort of blow up in that second half. But even his 35 to 40K was still like quite respectable. So he didn't lose a lot of time, which I thought is a good sign.
Yeah, I think the good sign with your debut is as well, like just going 1 for 1, like getting one on the board, having not a disaster happen. And this is a guy, works full time, trains a lot by himself down there in Bendigo, trains before work, after work, like no contract, not sponsored. I think it's a great step in the right direction for, hopefully he can make a future out of being a marathon runner and someone can start paying him, because I think he deserves it. He could be, I don't know if he's going to be the guy that breaks the Australian record, but he could be making teams.
Yeah, and that shouldn't be the only guy who gets looked after. Like, that's crazy to think that you only look after the ones that are going to win gold medals. And I hate that about this whole podium potential stuff. Like, oh yeah, we only have so much funding, so it goes to the ones that are winning medals. That's nearly impossible to do in this sport. And if you give up on everyone else, or you start funneling funds away from them and just leave them out in the dark, like, that's crazy to me. Like, you're just going to end up with losing these athletes to other sports every single time. I don't think Andy would be very good at anything else, but you still want to see him looked after.
Yeah, like hopefully this is him making that step now.
Yeah.
Like on that Athletics Australia radar more than just like the Victorian radar or the cross-country radar or whatever it is, like is in those conversations hopefully now. I think people that have known a lot about him in the past, like have known that was the direction he was heading in. But yeah, it's a good time. All right, fellas, we'll see if I can get Andy Buchanan sorted here. We're going to try and go to Hamburg, fresh off his 2:12:23 marathon yesterday. Andy Buchanan, have I got you?
Yeah, hey Brady, how we going?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. Coming in loud and clear. Congratulations on last night's performance, and thanks for giving up some time so soon after that performance to the Inside Running podcast.
Oh, cheers, mate. It's always enjoy coming on to chat running, and it's been a bit of a strange last few days. So it's good to hear some Aussie accents again.
That's good. Joined also with Julian Spence and Bradley Crokes, so they're here halfway through our recording on a Monday night, and I guess this is the morning after your race. Did you have a few beers last night? What happened? Is it still pretty fresh in the mind?
I had a few beers actually. Even had a few shots, which wasn't planned on doing that. But you got to make the most of being over here. So it was a good night, but didn't get much sleep. So it's kind of the body's very confused this morning and very sore. But I don't think I've fully come to terms with it and realised the performance. But it's been a pretty crazy last 24 hours. So it's 11 a.m. over here. So it's I'm in full DOMS mode.
Pretty happy with it then, Andy, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, I'm happy because it's like a debut. So I think the marathon is you learn so much from everyone, whereas you can go out and run a 5K and 10K and you can compare it from other distances, whereas a marathon is so different to any other distance. So I'm happy, but at the same time, I think there's definitely room for improvement in my next one. So obviously the A goal or A+ goal would have been trying to get that world champs qualifying time. And this race was set up perfectly for it, but just faded a little bit in that last probably 10K, mainly 5K, but a little bit off, but I'm really happy with 2:12.
How did the race pan out, Andy? Because we looked at your splits early and it looked like you guys were a bit slow, maybe the first two 5K splits up until 10K, but I think it was a bit windy, and then you kind of picked it up and went through half right on that 2:11, maybe 2:11:10 pace, I think it was. I do have it in front of me now and I'll open it up, and then, tiny bit of fade towards the end.
Yeah, so we were really lucky. We had some two German guys that were trying to run the qualifying time, so 2:11:30. So we actually had 4 pacemakers, and 2 of them were Europeans, so like very, very good pacemakers. They knew what they were doing, and one of them was David Nielsen, so he's a 2:10 guy. So we had those 2 pacemakers to one German pacemaker till about 15K, the 2 European guys till 32, and then there was actually a Somalian who was meant to pace to 15K and he ended up finishing. So he's the guy that finished 7 seconds ahead of me. So it was really good, and those guys have ran the course before, and they were like, let's not get too crazy in the first 10K. Let's try and be a little bit conservative. But it's, I don't know, over here it's so good. Like it's a lot of the team NN were over here in global sports, and we had a guy on a bike that was with us the whole way, and he was telling the pacemakers like, you bang on time, you're 5 seconds down, all that kind of stuff. So it was pretty handy having that, and I just sat on the group for as long as I could, and then I don't know, once the pacemakers dropped off, the Somalian guy, I thought he was racing, and it wasn't until after the race I found out he was actually a pacemaker. So I thought the paces dropped out. So me and him shared the lead for a little bit, and then I sat on him for the last 3 or 4K, and he probably just got a little bit on me in the last 2K. That's when I found it pretty challenging. But I was not looking at times, not looking at my watch, just trying to run with the pacemakers. But I think once they dropped out, you feel like you're running the same effort, but you're running slower. So I think there wasn't a big blow up, and I was pretty happy. I didn't bleed too much time, so I think it's a good starting spot.
Yeah, I did try and get the stats today, which I didn't successfully do, about where it ranks in regards to debuts. Like, we know Jeff Hunt 2:11.00 is the fastest, and we kind of worked out that Mona was the second fastest, a bit slower than that. Do you have any of that kind of intel?
Nah, I don't. I know about Jeff's run, but I don't really know any others. So, I'm not sure. Yeah,
it certainly must be up there, though, because we're talking about a minute 20 behind those guys. So, there's not a lot of space there. And, so no hitting the wall or anything, pretty pleasant experience first up.
Or, I don't know. I didn't start. I felt it's really challenging because in your first marathon, you don't know how you're meant to feel. And I think that's where I can improve a fair bit in the next one, because I probably wasted a bit of energy in the first 20K just overthinking things, because when you do so much carb loading, so the first 10K you feel like you nearly feel overweight, you feel like you've got a bit of a stitch, you don't feel great, you feel a bit sluggish. And I've heard people tell me that, but it's another thing to experience it. And so I was constantly going, am I feeling okay? Am I not feeling good, kind of thing. So I'd say I never felt great, but I never felt terrible. And one piece of advice that Scott told me is it's all about minimizing the good and the bad. So when you're feeling good, don't get too carried away. And when you're feeling bad, just try and stay relaxed and try and be nice and even. So probably to 30, 35, 36K, I was mostly having good patches and very short bad patches. But then from probably 38, it probably started to be kind of half-half. You'd kind of go through a bad patch, and then all of a sudden you're in a good patch, and then a bad patch straight away. And then the last 2K was a bit of a grind, but no hitting the wall, no kind of bonking completely. But the legs are pretty shot, and I was very happy to stop running at the finish. So,
Andy, how did you know what pace to go out at? I know you had a plan in mind, but what gave you the confidence to go at that pace?
Yeah, so I was planning on doing Gold Coast last year and getting one under the belt. And then I was planning on coming over to Europe and doing a fast one. And obviously Gold Coast didn't happen. So I don't know. I think with marathoning, I don't know what it is, but Australians haven't, I don't know, you guys have been talking about this a lot lately. We haven't converted like we have in other distances. So when I'm chatting to Scott, like my coach, he wasn't using Morton. He wasn't using the super shoes. So I constantly just try and trick myself into thinking 2:11, 2:12 is the new 2:14, I think, in my mind, with the way technology is happening these days. So I suppose I was just trying to trick myself into that confidence that I've ran fast times over 5K, 10K, half marathon, and just trying to get confidence from my cross-country strength, I suppose. And I know I've had a really good, consistent build-up and done everything I can. So, and it's, I don't know, when you spend 24 hours to travel to the other side of the world for a race, and you put a lot of mental, physical energy in, and you get a lot of messages from family, friends, all that kind of stuff. It's quite an emotional experience, and I know you've spoken about that before, Moose. So that's the motivation, and you know how much people put in, how much time and effort they put into you and help you. So it's completely different to racing anything in Australia, I think. So that was my motivation, just to go, hey, let's just go for it. This is what other race are you going to get to where there's going to be 4 pacemakers for 2:11.30? And these guys over here, the Europeans, they're like, why did you travel? You traveled all the way to Germany for one race. And I'm like, yeah, this doesn't happen in Australia. You can't do this. You don't get this competition. So it's it was just kind of.
You're right. It's and also I remember we had a conversation a year ago on a run after that 5K when we stayed in Bendigo, and you told me you were going to do a marathon, but you were going to run 2:16, and then you just wanted to see how it all went. So it was pleasing to see you go out there and do that on the weekend.
And I think because having not done a marathon, everyone tells you, it's so different, it's so hard. You can't prepare for that last 10, 12K, whatever it is. So you have all these, like, you really doubt yourself. And I was just like, hey, and that's why I didn't want to, I kept it on the low because I didn't want people constantly telling me that kind of stuff. I just wanted to be in my own little world back in Bendigo. Once I got to Europe, I was happy for everyone to know, but that's why I didn't go around and publicize it, because people just say, they don't say, oh, you'll smash it. They say, oh yeah, the marathon starts at 35K and all that stuff, which is not, yes, you have to respect it, but I think at the same time you need to be a little bit aggressive. So yeah, I'm glad I got your tick of approval there, Moose.
Hey,
go on, Brad. You asked the great man now.
I got a couple of questions. Well, firstly, congratulations. When did you make the call to do Hamburg? Because I believe that let's talk that you're going to do Melbourne, but then you got injured late last year. So when did you decide to do it? And you mentioned that you wanted to do Gold Coast and just get, some runs on the board and run at 2:16. But obviously, world champs qualifying time is 2:11:30, and we're running out of, I don't know when the selection period ends, but it's pretty much now. So do you sort of regret not having the opportunity to get one under your belt? Because I'm pretty confident that if you had run one previously, then your next one, like your second one, would be that sub 2:11:30?
Yeah. So I was obviously planning on doing Gold Coast, planning on doing Melbourne, got a stress reaction in my femur. And I was actually chatting to Hugh Williams, and he was saying this was, I'm going to say January, maybe even December last year. And he said he was keen to do Hamburg. And I'd never heard of this marathon before. And I just looked up when it was, and it's actually the last weekend of holidays, which for me is perfect, being a school teacher, because it meant I could spend 2 weeks over here during the holidays, which was good. So I was like, oh yeah, that sounds good. And then I spoke with Nick, and it was funny actually. He spoke to me after Zatopek, where I ran very poorly, and he said, oh, you want to do a marathon? I think I ran 30 minutes or something, and I was like, oh, this is not the best time to be chatting to Nick about trying to get into a European marathon. But yeah, he said, oh yeah, I know the race organizer, I'll be able to get you in. And then it just kind of went from there. So that's when I decided. So that was whenever Zatopek was. I can't remember when that was, but yeah, and then Australia Day. That's right. Yeah, end of Jan. So I don't know. I really wanted to get that World Champs qualified, but at the same time, I knew that hitting, like, performing nearly at your best on your first marathon is really hard. I think you can do that over 5 and 10, but over a marathon it's really hard because you can improve so much just through that experience. And yeah, obviously I would have loved to get a marathon in before this, but I don't know. I think I've still got a few more good years in me. I'm 31, but at the same time I haven't been flogging myself for the last 15 years. So yeah, and it's I'm excited, and hopefully I can get selected for Com Games. I'd be really happy with that. My preference would probably be World Champs, but still making an Australian team would mean a lot to me. So I wish that I had an opportunity to run one and learn about the event and then come over here and try and get that to 11:30. But a lot of things have happened in the last 2-3 years that have been out of our control. So it's just awesome to get overseas again and race these big races. I feel like we had so many track seasons just on top of each other. So yeah, obviously in a perfect world, I would have done a marathon in Australia, learnt about it, come over here with some more confidence, and hopefully not faded and got that to 11:30. So, but yeah, I'm not disappointed.
And I'm just going to ask about the Com Games there, Moose, which I'm sure you were going to ask the same thing. This time, when the show comes out on Wednesday, it will be 3 years since Jack and Brett ran their PBs, and the only person to run quicker than you in that 3-year period, if you're not including those two, would be Liam Adams when he ran 2:10:48 at the start of 2020 before the pandemic hit. So how confident are you that those kind of stats are going to work in your favour come selection with that discretionary spot for Com Games?
Yeah, I actually have no idea. I don't know the selection policy. I didn't want to count my eggs before they hatch kind of thing. Like, I was just very much like, let's go over there, let's aim for it, but let's not look too much into that detail. So I actually have no idea about the selection policy. But I'll probably I'll chat with Nick in the coming days because obviously he knows what Brett and Jack are doing. I know those guys are keen to do some 10Kers, but I don't know if they'll look to do 10K at World Champs, then maybe do the marathon at Com Games. I'm not sure, but I'll probably chat with Nick because he kind of, he knows that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, honestly, I actually have I couldn't even tell you what the Com Games qualifier is. I don't know if there is one. I don't know when the selection period ends. I don't know when it starts because I don't know. I didn't want to get too focused on that kind of stuff. I just wanted to focus on my race and focus on what I can control, which is what I'm doing. So, yeah, that doesn't answer your question at all. Sorry, Brady.
No, I was just asking how much intel you had, which doesn't sound like any of it.
Yeah, none. Yeah, but hopefully I'll get that in the next few days from Nick.
Yeah, it's not going to be good for the Bendigo Bats, though, if you make Com Games and miss half the season.
Yeah, luckily we got the depth there.
Got a bit of depth.
So
Com Games is pretty important.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll still get to a few races. Hopefully the legs feel better than what they do today for Gels Park.
Does this time knock off Scott's PB?
Nah, so he's still got me. Yeah, he's got
2:11:30
or something. He actually said when he called me yesterday, he said if I run 2:11:30, he said he'll do a naked lap around his school. So he
where's his job?
Fired. That's him in prison.
So I think he obviously, but like that's the thing, Scott, he hasn't done that much in these super shoes.
That was 2005.
He hasn't used the nutrition. So it's like he's telling me this stuff and I'm constantly tricking myself into thinking, nah, he wasn't using Morton like it. And it makes such a big difference. Like I think if you don't think it makes a difference, you don't, like, you have no idea. And
you're getting paid by Morton?
They send me some stuff, but they don't pay me. So big thanks to Toombs for sending me some stuff there.
Hey, Andy, was there any talk between you and Scott about trying to break Jeff Hunt's debut record of 2:11? It would have been a bit of poetic justice, I reckon.
Oh, yeah. You're right, Crokes. They had a bit of beef, didn't they, going into the Olympics?
Well, yeah, for those that don't know.
Olympics?
Jeff appealed Scott's Olympic selection, so it would have been quite funny to see Scott's athlete break Jeff's debut marathon record.
Yeah, Scott doesn't talk about Jeff too much, so I'll leave it at that. I don't want to say too much, but that wasn't spoken about. But I'm sure Scott would have been happy if I did break that.
Any more questions for him, boys, before we let him go off to Berlin? Over to the nightclub scene over there, Andy, I'm sure. Kit Kat Club, is that what it's called, Moose?
Oh, mate, shut down. We shut it down when we went there.
You ruined it.
Yeah, should have. Look, nothing I've done there hasn't been done before.
So, Andy, Gels Park, you'll be there?
I'll be there. I'm not sure if I'll be racing, but I'll definitely be there. But I would love to race, but I don't know. People talk about how they feel after a marathon, and you're just like, oh, like, really? Like, how is it that hard? Like, you do some long sessions, you do all this kind of stuff, and like, I just couldn't believe, like, when I finished, I was you could hardly walk, and I sat down for probably 10 minutes, and you just sit there and you're just like, I'm so cooked. And I couldn't stand up, and you just, like, your legs are just shot. And this morning when I got out of bed, you forget you ran a marathon, and you get out and you're like, oh shit, like, your legs just don't work. So I'm sure this feeling will be there for a few days. And I think, like, mentally, you just need that break. So it's kind of perfect. I'm in Germany for a week, so I'll just enjoy kind of seeing some sights, living like a normal person. And then I'll be back for a week, and I'll see how I feel. I'd love to get down there, obviously, like, love doing XCR, but I just don't want to rush back, like, especially if kind of doing Com Games, if I get in that team, like, you kind of need to get back into the marathon kind of thing, so I don't want to get back into it too quickly. So I'd love to be there 100%, but I don't want to lock it in, because I think too many people just they just get back too quickly, and I think I need that rest. So
we'll put him on the clipboard.
Bad seasons in tatters.
Oh, we got some depth there.
Maybe you should go back. Maybe it's time for you to be put back to Div 2 from this talk.
Crokes, you're a supporter of the Bats, aren't you?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
You're talking so negative.
Yeah, I've still got a singlet somewhere collecting dust.
Yeah, I still have your medal. I need to give you your medal. So you need to come down and collect it. Because I'm not going to post it up there. So you need to come and get it.
All right, I'll see what we can do.
All right, Andy. Well, safe travels around Germany and then back to Australia. And then, you'll be, I'm sure, on a clipboard or something down at Gels Park. So there'll be a lot of local Victorian runners who I'm sure congratulate you in person there. And, thanks for giving up some time.
Yeah, thanks, boys. I'll just have to think about Liam Adams, what he did Gels Park 6 days after doing Com Games Marathon, I think, 2 years ago. So I'll just have to... On him. Yeah, that's heaps of time. I should be fine. But thanks, boys. I'll catch up with you back in Australia.
Good debut, Andy. Well done.
Andy, well done, mate.
Thanks,
Andy. Guys. All right, see ya.
See ya, mate.
If New Balance only made one running shoe, it would be the 1080. It is their best running shoe, period. This shoe is unique in that this top-of-the-line perspective is executed with maximum versatility in mind, making this performance shoe applicable to a wide range of users. The V12 can be viewed as a natural evolution of the 1080 signature qualities. The smooth transitions of the pinnacle underfoot cushioning experience are fine-tuned with updated midsole mapping, which applies more foam to wide areas of the midsole and increases flexibility at the narrower points. The ultra-modern outlook is also reflected in the 1080's upper construction. This shoe also offers a supportive second skin style fit with an engineered Hypoknit upper for a more streamlined overall design.
Run the 10 next, Crokes?
So I think this is the second year of the event. Bit lighter on at the top end this year just because there's a lot of our, I guess last year it was sort of during lockdown and all of our athletes were in the country, whereas a lot of athletes are overseas at the moment. In the men's race, won by James Hansen in 10:44. Liam Adams was second in 10:51 and Lachlan Hurd was third in 11:08. Just for reference, the record is 10:08. In the women's, Jess Hall, 11:46. Abby Caldwell, 11:49 for second. And Amy Bunnage was third in 11:55. The record for the women's was 11:35. Lyndon Hall was meant to take part, but got taken out by a dog on the warm-up, which I don't know about you boys, but I find it fascinating that they can run an event around the TAM without actually having it closed. Like, there's going to be, well, there probably were collisions, but there's going to be collisions, and it's not going to be pretty one day. Thoughts?
Yeah, well, this is only on the warm-up. And I'm just relaying what they said on the stream, that they said that Linda was a late scratching because she'd had a run-in with a Labrador, I think, and she'd hit her head, and they were just taking her to hospital just to make sure that she was
really
good. Yeah.
Oh my God.
They weren't like panicking, saying it was really bad or anything, but they were just saying that just to make sure everything was good, it was safe not to race, and that she was going to get checked out.
Like I know they do it at 10 relays. Like I've run 10 relays once,
yeah, they don't
and
close
like
it there
I found the same thing. I just don't know how you can have you're running, because it's 3.86 kilometers. So you're not running a marathon pace. You are balls out for the whole lap and trying to dodge people. Like it's dangerous. That's my take on it anyway.
Yeah, they had cameras set up at like different points throughout the course, and then they'd kind of flash to the camera they were about to approach, and you'd watch people like just walking their dogs like in the direction of the camera, and you're like, oh, because you know like why that camera's set up, that someone's about to hum past it, 245k pace, but that person walking the dog doesn't, and I'm looking at their facial expressions on the camera, like, are they about to get a bit scared here or get out of the way? Jess Hull's about to come around that corner. I don't know how or why they don't. I guess paying to close it might be pretty expensive, but it'd be good to let them have a free run around it.
Yeah. Well, if this event continues in this, with the growth that it seems to have in terms of how mainstream it is, then you're going to probably have to do something about that, because it could be a fantastic event, like even from a fun run type standpoint, with just getting people to run around the tan, because everyone in Melbourne knows the tan, and everyone's sort of kind of aware of what tan time they could do. And so I like the idea of it big time, especially for anyone can run the tan. You could market that as couch to tan almost, but then you've got the elites and everyone in between. So I think if they get big enough, then they should be looking at doing that.
They seem to be having a lot of celebrities involved. Like there was a lot of promo and people of note down there going around the tan there. Did you mention Reece Langdon beat Jared Clifford as well?
No,
Crokes? 11:17 to 11:20 in the para section.
The para event, yeah. So good run by Reece.
Yeah, and that was just
Canberra boy.
About 8 seconds off Jared's record there. So good to see. And I think they give them equal prize money and stuff as well, which was good to see.
Tough to have a para section though, right? Because there's different divisions within the para community, and so is that just lumping everyone in one? Oh, you're in the para.
I assume so, only because I saw a picture on the podium and Reece was on the podium with the check for $2,000 and Jared was next to him.
It's really difficult, isn't it, to provide it. Like for me, like when I look at a race, I go, I love the idea of equal opportunity. It's just really difficult to execute when you start making like divisions, and then there's more divisions, and then there's more divisions, and then there's more divisions. If you started to accommodate for every single like group out there, so for instance, I know like when there was a lot of when the Paralympics was on, it was like, oh well, this certain disability group. So I think it was what was the disability that wasn't included in the Paralympics? They have their own Olympics, or they have their own games or event, and then another like disability group has another event. It's just, in order to be inclusive, it's just very, very difficult. So it's great that we're starting to see them come through like in the big events like this. It's just going to be even more and more difficult going forward, I think, to try to I guess provide fairness there as well.
I think in swimming, what they've done to have people from different categories competing against each other in the same race and finding out a winner. It's like who is closest to the world record, or like world record percentage. So I've definitely seen races in swimming where you've got people from different categories in the one race, and there's one winner, but it's not necessarily the person that finishes first. It's whoever's closest to the world record for their category.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, sucks if you've got some sort of freak athlete that's run like 5 years ago in your event.
But that's no different to anything. If you're unlucky to be in the same generation as a Usain Bolt and you've got to race against him, then you're probably not going to win a world championship or an Olympic medal.
Yeah, but this record continues forever. So once Bolt retires, you don't have to beat him anymore.
Yeah.
Whereas these guys are always beating the guy who,
Yeah.
Alicia Bryant won the women's in that para as well. She was the only competitor, 16:29. And the Kipchoge news, he did go on to run Berlin that same year, and he ran 2:04.05. So that was his debut in Hamburg.
Is that him done? Yeah,
Pardon?
Is that him done out of is that his only run majors?
This was his progression: Berlin, Chicago, Berlin, London, Berlin, Berlin, London, London. That one at the airport in the Netherlands, Tokyo Olympics.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So
he hasn't gone back to a non-major since then.
Yeah, other than the Olympics and that, like Breaking 2 and Ineos.
Yeah.
That answers that. Thing I saw yesterday, I didn't know this was happening. Thank you to our Patreon supporter, Master in Asia. Remember we thanked him a couple of years ago, boys? Or him or her, don't know who it was. But they have the finger on the pulse. He sent us in the direction of this Asics Meta time trial event. Did you guys know this was happening before I'm going to talk about it?
Only because I saw some stuff on Ed Goddard's Instagram that he was in Malaga. Yeah, Malaga. Yeah. And I believe it was to do with the release of their new super shoe.
Yeah, well, Adidas did the same thing last year where they kind of get all their sponsored athletes in the one spot. We kind of saw it with Nike Breaking 2, I suppose, the launch of those shoes and promo of those shoes. Not to this extent, though, where they would have had, I'm going to say, 70, 80 Asics athletes all in the one spot. And then they ran 3 kind of time trial races. They did a half marathon, a 10K and a 5K all on the road, and just set up this kind of like out and back course. Alicia McCoglin was the big news there. She broke her own UK record for 5K on the road. She ran 14:48. Mohammed Katir, we know him from like Diamond League tracker races with Stewie. He ran 13:20 to just miss the European 5K record by 2 seconds. Ed Goddard was in that half marathon as well. He ran 63:25. Set up beautiful. It was pretty much a shoe ad. I think the winning time in the men's half marathon was 59:56. Cool race with 4 guys running down the finish line at the same time, all in the same Asics kits. Apart from the Asics Pacers, they had a different colour top on. Looks good on the eyes. Looks good for the shoe promotion. My question is this a good or bad thing for the sport, though? What are your thoughts on them? Because we're going to see more and more, I think. Like we saw it with Adidas, now we're seeing it with Asics.
Well, how is it good for the sport?
Well, I think
think about it like that.
Okay, so I think it's good for the sport because all the attention is on the athletes. Whereas sometimes when these athletes, so say Ed Goddard went to a Hamburg Marathon instead. Sorry, Ed Goddard's not the perfect example. Say the winner of the half marathon went to the Hamburg Marathon instead and came like 5th or 6th. He might not have had as much like attention on him. The camera might have been going to like the charity component of it, like bouncing around a bit. Whereas this was just all set up for the brand and for the athletes on show. It was very elitist in a way, is what I'm trying to say.
But you're saying that it's about the athlete then.
Yeah,
it's about the brand though. It's about the shoes. Yeah,
it's about the brand that's supporting the athlete. And the comment was because I did hear that Alish was meant to run. Is Stanford coming up? Peyton Jordan?
Peyton Jordan.
Oh, yeah. 8th of May, I think.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if this is true, but I did hear a whisper that she was meant to do that, but then was, suggested that she do this because it's an Asics thing and she's an Asics athlete. So she did this instead, which could be bad for the sport if athletes can't do the races they want to because they've got
5K. Surely it's not an instead.
This was not reliable whisper actually. This one coming in, but that could be potentially where it's bad for the sport. If one of those,
well, it's also not a competition. It's not a real competition that means anything. So, like,
it was certified the course.
Yeah, it might be okay. So
I guess they could get times qualifiers.
Yeah, but
for what
it's
really?
Not a
5:10.
Yeah, exactly. Fucking dog, sorry. It's not, like Ed Goddard's there racing no one really. Like, he's not against anyone that's not wearing an Asics shoe. So it's a real insular type race. I've actually had no interest in them. So I remember that Adidas was on. I watched it. I thought it was boring as fuck. I didn't see, same with the airport race for Kipchoge. I thought that was really boring as well. I thought I didn't even see this, and I didn't really have any interest in watching a replay once I found out it was on. So I'm saying no. I'm not good for the sport because it's. And
the other I guess risk for the brand is if their athletes don't actually do anything that special, it sort of highlights that why would you want to buy those shoes anyway?
Yeah.
Because they're all Asics, but Ed's time wasn't out of this world for the standard that he's at.
He did run a marathon a couple of weeks ago though.
Yeah, that's true, but it's it puts then the attention on the shoe, and so unless people are running super quick, it's maybe I won't buy that shoe.
Yeah,
what's the difference?
He interviewed a guy who'd ran 2 minutes slower than his PB at the end, a Belgium guy. I'm just I don't know whose idea this was. I'd probably get him off the stage pretty quick. Yeah. But it was set up really cool how they would introduce him and they'd walk up this walkway and then do a bow and then jog to the start line. They had some big names there. Emma Bates was there from the US. She was in one of the races. It was. I don't know.
I'll let you know how
you got
many.
The shoe?
No, we don't have a shoe. But I'll let you know how many come in asking for it this week.
I don't think it will be many, but maybe it will surprise me. Talking about shoes, Crokes, people that are wearing shoes for a long period of time, 100k world record went down, and Australian one nearly went down as well.
Yeah, so Alexander Sorokin broke the 100k world record on the track with a time of 6 hours, 5 minutes and 41 seconds, which is an average pace of 3:39 per kilometre or 5:53 per mile. Closer to home, Dion Finocchiaro, he took half an hour off his road PB, ran 6 hours, 30 minutes and 43 seconds, and that puts him number 2 all-time Australian. The record is set by Tim Sloan with 6 hours 29:26, which is 3:54 per kilometre.
Imagine doing that. Imagine you're on 100k at 3:39 per k pace around an athletics track.
Yeah, it's impressive.
It's insane.
It's not. It's like the 24-hour bike record to me. This sort of thing where someone cycles 24 hours and the furthest they go is like the record. This is the same sort of I reckon it's probably an equivalent thing for running 100k, just in terms of the effort involved or like how difficult it would be.
Yeah. That hats off to them, because I think this is a whole different, incredible athlete feat to be able to.
What do you think you could do, Brady?
No, I wouldn't do it. I couldn't think.
No, but what do you think you could do?
Oh, I struggle to jog like 4-minute 30s on my easy days. Like that pace for starters.
This is tapered marathon day. How far could you run at 21 seconds slower than your marathon pace? How far could you do that on your peak fitness?
I don't know. You'd have to say 60, 70k at least, wouldn't you?
I don't know. This is what I'm talking about.
I don't know what.
You just don't know. This is the thing with this. These races are unknowns. They're a mystery. And so unless you go and buckle up and do one, there's no answer for that, because how the fuck are you going to know? And
mentally, I think mentally is the big one.
Yeah, I agree. Mentally is like, I don't know how you distract yourself for that period of time.
Yeah, it would be a funny, maybe if you're struggling for motivation at some point, maybe you boys could have a crack at this.
I don't know. Be good content for the show, Moose, if you have a crack at it, I reckon. Get that knee right. What's furthest you've raced?
I've gone 100k before.
100k. What time do you run?
On trails. I went 9 hours 56.
9 hours? You're like 3 hours behind these guys.
I did a lot of walking.
Thought you were good.
I did a lot of walk. No, but Brad, this could suit you with your long run strengths.
Yeah, I was actually thinking that on the weekend. I'm like, this feels like comfortable. Like, I don't pull up sore from like rolling 30k at 4-minute Ks. I know 30k and 100k is completely different, but that sort of pace is sort of in my wheelhouse. Like, especially on a road, like I don't feel like I'm putting in too much effort to maintain that. Obviously, nutrition would be a massive part, and probably different nutrition to like a marathon. More solid food, maybe. I don't know, but maybe we'll see. I don't know if I could do it mentally.
There you go. Dion Crokes is coming for you. Tim Sloan, that record's on borrowed time, maybe. Moose takes to Japan. 3 Aussies in action over there at the half.
We got the Gifu Sairu half marathon in Japan. Had ladies running. Sinead Diver came second, actually, and she nearly ran her PB. So that's huge from Sinead, coming back and running so fast after Nagoya was the DNF. So brilliant from Sinead. She's obviously come off that race and got straight back into it. Eloise Wellings ran 4th. She was 70.42, so that's like a minute 42 behind Sinead. That's significant when you consider Eloise was second at Zatopek and ran that great marathon. And Nat Rule 71.24, so she was
Debut.
6th place PB. Yep. And also we went to Geelong as well. But that's big from Sinead.
That's a good run from Sinead.
10 seconds off her PB, I think that was it? 10 seconds?
Yeah, no, PB was a couple of years ago. Was it Sunny Coast or Gold Coast?
Yeah, that's huge,
like,
actually.
She was running, it was very close to a marathon PB as well. Like, she was in a really good place with like knocking PBs out pretty regularly. Let me tell you here. Yeah, PB 68.50, Feb 2020.
She keeps, everyone's, I say everyone's like thinking that it can't go on forever, because we all are, like, and realistically it can't go on forever. But there is certainly like the potential for it to start going downhill soon. However, she just keeps proving people wrong, and she keeps pushing back the regression. And it's quite incredible to watch. I love it. How she's doing it.
she probably doesn't want it mentioned, but it was also an age group world record. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere.
She might not want it mentioned, but that's fucking huge.
It is.
Yeah. And yeah, she's an open athlete. She comes second in the race, so why would she care about that? But she'll look back on this in 20 years and go, yeah, fuck, that was a world record. That was a world record, so I'm taking it. Yeah.
That previous PB was just near her New York performance moose and the world champs we were talking about before.
Yeah,
coming off that fitness. So she's in shape. Do we know what she's... No, there should be no marathon now. We world champs will come games. We'll wait on that news.
Yeah,
you'd think so.
Might see her at Giles Park in a couple of weeks going around a relay cross country.
Who's she run for?
She's from South Melbourne, AV. I don't know who she runs for these days though. We might be able to snag her at Bendigo Bats.
And Geelong needs a leader.
We got a new women's captain. Did you hear about that? Commonwealth Games representative. Virginia Maloney become a Bendigo Bat. Yeah, moved to Bendigo. Husband's from Bendigo, Trent.
Yep. She's been a bit quiet recently.
Yeah, she had a child. Yeah, so
what
she's come back now.
What division is Bendigo at?
For women's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should know that as well. Don't know.
You don't know that?
Mate, I'm a river bat. I'm not even a Bendigo bat.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to say Division 2 or 3 for our women's team.
Oh.
That is not good, Brady.
No, not for a guy that loves the bats as much as you, Brady.
That is terrible.
Hey? That's what Virginia is there for. She's going to drive the women bats. I'm in the men's bats.
This is like Albo not knowing the unemployment rate.
That's bullshit. They keep asking those questions, don't they? All the media guys.
That's not a bad question for me to ask.
Yeah,
that's a legitimate question.
I'm sorry. I should have known that stuff. I'll look it up.
It's not Div 1 then.
Women aren't in Div 1 now. They're on the rebuild. Yep.
They'll probably get gifted another.
Is Geelong Div 1?
Gifted a promotion soon. Geelong's Div 1, correct? Oh,
hang on.
Wait, no one got dropped after last year, so yeah, they're still Div 1.
Still Div 1. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, talking Geelong, there was a half marathon down there.
There was
2 course records.
Yeah, I was down there in the morning, set up a stall, got to see it. It was beautiful conditions, actually. Could not complain about the conditions. And the course has quickened recently. They used to take people around the oval to get an extra, like a few hundred metres, maybe K, because the river, it's basically a lap of the Geelong River, the Bowen River, not the Geelong River. And it's about 19K, the lap of the river. And so you have to do a bit extra. Now they take them on a bike, like a crit course. The one that I say where the GPS is up to shit, so everyone goes and gets fantastic results. So, yeah, they take them out and back on that, which is a lot faster than going around the ovals. But we had a 2:08 guy win the race down here. So, Abira Belay, who we discussed last week, I reckon.
2 weeks ago, Run for the Kids, he was second to Liam Adams.
Yeah,
that's when we were talking about him.
2:08 guy, boys.
He's getting back in shape too, Abiri.
Yeah, well, he looked good. He was pumping the arms at the end. He just missed the course record, though.
So he ran... I thought he got it. Just missed it.
They said he missed it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, on the day they were saying he missed it, and he didn't get the cash. So, that's it.
You keep talking, and I'll look that up because I swear I looked it up today.
He ran by himself. He won the race 64.40. Dave Ridley was second. Dave ran 66 something. Matt Gunther third, 68 something. Anna Kelly, though, broke the course record in the ladies. She was 73.17. So that, I reckon she broke Ali's record, to be honest.
Karina Fife's.
Oh.
This is on their website anyway. I don't know how accurate their website is. But yeah,
well,
under prizes here, it says Karina Fife ran 73.54 set on 11th of April 2021.
Oh, yeah, that's that's last year.
Yeah, and it said
okay.
Abiri's record was 64.33. And he's run 7 seconds slower. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
Just missed it.
Yeah, so Anna did take the record and she won by a lot. Oh, not that much. I think 76 was second. Maybe, what was it? Rachel Guinness, just off the top of my head. Rachel McGuinness.
Who ran well at Melbourne Marathon.
Yes, she did, and then she won the river run in Geelong as well. But I didn't get third. Sorry, that was just off the top of my head. So yeah, that's a good run there. Good race too. I like it down there. It's not the fastest course, to be honest. So Anna Kelly, like both those times are pretty good.
Dave Ridley was whinging. It was lumpy, I reckon. A bit hilly for him.
certainly no hills there, but it's just like bike path and a lot of it's cambered. There are a few little like rollers, like a BMX track you'd call it, I reckon. Probably like hilly compared to Albert Park.
Rachel McGuinness, 1:16.31. Deborah Bruce, 1:16.39. Close to second and third there.
Yeah, hello.
So, yeah, some good times down in Geelong. Listener question, Crokes.
Yep, comes in from Chris. Hey guys, listener question. So Ballarat is looking at potentially having the Com Games Marathon in 2026. What is more important, having a flat course and potentially doing a bunch of shorter loops and have spectators more condensed, or having a more scenic course that might include more hills / elevation and spectators spread out? Do elite athletes actually take in the scenery? What would Moose's ideal course in Ballarat include?
Yeah, so I
got
saw
announced
this
a couple of weeks ago, didn't it?
Well, the location of the marathon hasn't been announced, but the track and field is going to be held at Ballarat. But I don't think they've announced the location of the marathon. But so Ballarat's gone on a bit of a campaign to get it. And you see Mona in the news, Jared Talent or Rachel Talent, trying to get the event. And, I'm looking at this going, you got to run that race on the Great Ocean Road. That would be an event right there. That would showcase Victoria. That would make your money back in tourism from all the payments they've made to get this thing. Imagine putting the race on the Great Ocean Road, run it from Lawn to Apollo Bay like the current one, get the choppers out, the drones, showcase our coastline, and just it's hilly. Make it fun. Like the crowd won't be there. You'll get a few. You could probably bus a bit of crowd in. It's not going to be like holding it in Ballarat on a closed course like around the lake or something. But in my mind, I think you can utilise our roads better than putting it in Ballarat. And yeah, Ballarat has a big heritage as a running town, but Brady, you've seen a half marathon. That was the best course that I could come up with when you ran the Run for a Cause that time.
It wasn't even 21.1k, was it?
Pretty sure I only ran 10k that time as well, actually.
Did you? Yeah, okay.
My comment on here is if Moose was building the course, it'd be like 41 kilometres.
I might put my hand up for this gig.
But surely you want spectators involved.
Well, why?
Because that's what people do. You go.
Yeah.
You don't need a ticket. You go out on the street. You can watch people go past. The Gold Coast was good.
Millions of people will be watching on TV.
So you're thinking tourism dollars is more important than like on race atmosphere?
I can't think of a course in Ballarat that would that would be a great showcase for regional Victoria. I mean, you go around the lake and it could look pretty good if it's a good day. But you know how bad the just think about AV 15Ks and then think about running a marathon around there. And then if you put it in Ballarat, okay, we need to go somewhere else. Maybe we head out to the rural areas. You're not going to get crowds out to the rural areas.
Couldn't you go through the guts of the CBD there, like the lap of the lake, and then through the main? Is it Mare Street down there? Through around
you could
there,
go through
Park, get a 10k, 12k loop, and do that a couple of times.
Yeah, then you want to do loop courses like that. I like marathons.
Loops are good for spectators.
No.
Yeah.
Imagine a point-to-point Com Games race.
But what if you did Great Ocean Road, but like a loop? So like find a nice section of it where you have, 5 to 10k out, 5 to 10k back, and you do it twice.
Could do that. That could work. Maybe go out and back on it even.
Yeah, start
that would be
point,
pretty good.
Go
pretty
10K
good, and then
north,
you could
like the Gold Coast one used to do.
Could line it with crowds.
Yeah, good question.
People would come down the surf coast and watch. I mean, you get how many people at Bells Beach? You would get a ton of people down there. Look how many people go to a Cats game in Geelong. It's only half an hour further down the coast.
Yeah, I like it. I haven't
the whole
thought about
country
that.
there, plus other countries.
You got to start the campaign.
Oh, mate, Mona's going hard on it. I don't think I can compete with the Mona media factory.
Since selling the store, he's really cut off connections to Ballarat, hasn't he, Crokes?
Nah, I thought about this the other day, and I'm like, guys, we can do better than the marathon in Ballarat. I reckon. I love Ballarat. I love the people. Love Mona. Don't think it's the best place for the Com Games Marathon. I reckon you could do it on the Great Ocean Road. And my store's not even on the Great Ocean Road.
Closest
Laps
store,
through Port of Echuca.
Yeah, I'm
That's
still.
South Wales, isn't it?
Yeah,
No,
actually,
Echuca's not.
very close to New South. Well, I think we've got some shooting or something up here in Moama.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, clay shooting or something like that. I think we've got that. That's about the only thing we got. I think Bendigo's got a few things.
Geelong gets some rowing probably or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
Oh, no, Ballarat surely gets the rowing.
Yeah, because they had that in the lake back at the Olympics, didn't they?
They did,
56.
yeah. Beautiful setup. Excellent setup for rowing there.
So what year was this? Com Games 2000 and...
26.
So we got
That's not far off.
we got the Olympics in 28 as well. No, 32.
32.
Jeez, a bit happening, isn't there?
What are they, Brisbane?
Yeah, Brisbane.
Yeah, right.
How's that local stadium in Ballarat going to have like the track and field?
Well,
They had a footy game there on the weekend. There was like 17,000 people. Not even that. I
No,
don't
well,
think.
that's Mars Stadium. So
Is that the same stadium?
No. Oh, well, it could be. That's the only place they could put it with crowd is Mars Stadium. You got to drop a track in. Otherwise, you can't go to Lamberts and put it. you would have to go to Mars Stadium, put a track in. It's a pretty nice stadium, to be honest. And it's Com Games. You don't need like fucking like 80,000 at it. You're not going to get that.
But you got the MCG like an hour down the road.
Yeah, but do you
You saw
think
how good that was in 2006.
Yeah, that was epic. That was epic. But it's not in Melbourne, mate. Com Games regional Victoria, so we're doing what we can.
True. Yeah, Bendigo's got nothing that compares to Mars. Anyway,
Well, you got
interesting.
Geelong, don't you? You got Geelong.
Does that
like,
mean they're just going to
Yeah,
have
what?
multiple athletes villages?
Must. Depending on what... There's going to be like 12
Yeah, you
people up
can't-
here in Echuca. The
yeah, you
shooters.
can't travel to Moama.
Yeah. It's
Like
going to be
in a day.
interesting. They could fly them in like they did those girls to the Stawell gift.
Who flew in?
You know, like Kat Bissett and all that. Melissa Duncan.
They flew them to Stawell.
Yeah, from Melbourne.
Who did?
Little plane. I don't know who was paying for it, but yeah, they didn't drive.
Jeez.
Is this though? Do
Lyndon
you
Hall
feel
and
like this whole setup of having it regional Victoria is almost like started the demise of Com Games and the importance of it? I just feel like no one really wants to put up their hands to host a Com Games anymore. So it's like, all right, we'll do it, but we'll just have it like regional Victoria. It's
Definitely
it's
the vibes
really
I'm
starting
getting
to
to.
lose. It's really starting to lose what it was when I was growing up.
I feel the same. It's like no one wanted it. And then it even came to like, it's like, oh yeah, I guess we'll do it.
Yeah, but you're not having it in the city.
Yeah. We'll knock you with the MCG. It's going to impact the cricket or the footy or whatever.
I know it does. It's not a great sign for it, is it? It's not a great, like, I mean, I feel like,
Especially
The
when we
Olympics-
just had it. Like we had it like 2 years ago.
yeah, and there's a lot of debt from an Olympics. Like, it's a big risk for a city. Like, and I'm going to the Olympics now and thinking a lot of the community really don't like it in their city when they have it. Like, if you look at Tokyo, there was a lot of complaints about that, and then there was Rio. I know, like that country went into a lot of debt, didn't they, after hosting it? Yeah, there's probably some cities that can afford it better than others, though.
We've got a few years to talk about that anyway, boys. But thanks for the question, Chris. Moose on the Loose, purchase of the week, rules of Strava.
Yeah, well, rules of Strava, big one for me. So I've been going out and having a crack at some segments on the bike. Came 5th on one today. That was a pretty big deal because I actually went through a puddle halfway up the segment. I nearly mentioned that on the comments, but yeah, just let it go, let it slide. Came 5th, which is pretty good considering it was a sandy track as well. I've got some good excuses on the bike, but on the bike, people use e-bikes now with motors like Brady. So she can zip up these climbs and take course records off people, but she's still on a bike. No one has any way of knowing. So it's obvious when someone's on a bike ride and takes a running segment, you can flag that straight away. Whereas on an e-bike, there's just no way of knowing. And so it makes things real murky. So yeah, rules of Strava there. Got to call the e-bike stuff out. If you're on one, be honest.
Do you think this annoys me, rules of Strava, when I check my notifications on my phone and it says that someone's taken one of my course records. And it's clearly, I click on it and someone's like, morning bike ride, but it's just uploaded as a run. But there's no way I can do it through the app on my phone to flag it. So then, like, I'm literally checking my phone when I'm walking into work or something. So then I'm like, well, will I remember after work to open my laptop, go to that person's run, flag it, just so I can have this segment next to my name? I'm like, no, of course I'm not going to spend my time doing that. So segments for me are kind of like dead now because you've got to police it yourself. And I reckon that's stupid. You shouldn't have to do that.
You know who has a direct line to Strava?
Michael Kernahan.
Big Sticks Kernahan.
Yeah, I'll see him at Gels Park in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, no. If you want to direct email, he'll have the contact.
I can't see how it can't be just as simple like flag this thing, just click the button because you can do a lot on the app these days.
Put it on the phone, exactly. Yeah. It's not that hard. Bang, flag. Yeah. This is wrong, and then all this. Yeah, like I don't like it. I think that's a good one from you. Maybe some more. I also bought something that I'm trying to remember. I think it was relevant.
Oh yeah, there was a. Did you put a photo up of your bike today?
Oh, Bree put that up. You like that?
Well, I don't know anything about bikes, but a few people wrote in.
What do you mean? Wrote to you?
Right, yeah, people write to me all the time about you.
How do they write to you? It was on Bree's Instagram.
Because they've seen Bree's Instagram and then written to me. This is what the message says. How's Moose complaining about the cost of cycling, but is riding one of the most expensive brands worldwide in Specialized, and his clothing is MAP. It doesn't get more boutique when it comes to cycling gear.
I bought it second hand.
Wow, that's just what people are writing in.
I bought my bike second hand.
This listener doesn't even live in Australia either. I love it.
Bought it off Facebook. That's fucked.
People watching you out there. Buy cheaper gear, Moose. Will stop complaining about it.
No, I just bought an audio book app.
No. I can tell you how to do this for free.
Oh, damn it. I've already paid for it.
No. So you go to your local library.
No, tell me later. Don't do this.
That's good. Anyway, which one have you bought? Audible?
Yeah, I bought Audible.
Nah, I'll tell you off air how to do this for free. Just got to be a local member at your library. Anyway.
Really?
Yeah. So if you've got a library card at your local library, then they've got a service and you can browse the books and just borrow them.
I reckon Moose is above the public library though. He likes having things of his own and not having to give them back.
You get to borrow them to your phone for 2 or 3 weeks. I just renewed one today.
Go into the library?
There's no way Moose is going to the public library.
No, libraries have actually improved heaps. Most of them are new these days. Once you got your library card, you're set. You just download the app and then put your library card number in, and then you just get to borrow them.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty good. For free. For free, yep. You get them for
You get all the catalogue.
You get all the what they've got available as audiobooks. It's called Borrow Box. It's a green app.
And how's the catalogue look?
Yeah, pretty good. It depends on what library. So like when I click on mine, it says like loading Campaspe, which is my local shire.
Oh, you only get the local one?
You only get the local one, yeah. So you'd probably have more at yours. It's pretty good. You listen to it when you ride your bikes?
How do you know my local library has that?
Wouldn't you be like Geelong system? It'd be a big library system down there.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the libraries, it's where all the people without internet go and look at Facebook.
Yeah, see a few of those in there when you go pick up your books. Anyway, I'll give you some details off there. What's coming up? Crokes 10K this week. Predictions? What are you going to run? You give us your time first.
I have no idea. I really I don't know. I haven't run.
What's the weather looking like?
A little bit wet. A little bit wet and a touch windy, I think.
Jeez, it's going to rain all week up there.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me check.
Wet back, 21K winds.
Look, I feel really good running. I feel really strong at the moment. I haven't done a lot of 10K race pace stuff. I've run 1 kilometer in 3 minutes, in months. So I don't know. Look, I reckon if I have a good day and the weather's good, maybe 30-30. More likely 31-ish, but I'd like to think that I'd break 31:30.
Put a time on it, Moose. What's your run?
Well, depends how activated he is. No, I'm going to say I reckon he's fit. He's always fitter than he thinks he is, But the trick here is to not look at his long runs, because if you look at his long runs, you think he'll run 30 minutes. And that's only because if I'm running his long runs at that pace, I'm much fitter. But yeah, 30-45, that's what he'll run.
Yeah, I don't like this weather. I'm going to go 30-50.
Yeah,
But
so
I think
now
you're in 30-25 shape.
Bomb has winds westerly 15 to 20, turning south to southwesterly 20 to 30 during the morning. So, and 2 to 15 mils of rain. So if it's raining, do I go Alpha Fly or Next Percent 2 in terms of grip?
Oh, Next Percent 2. Definitely Next Percent.
Because,
I reckon you want to be lower to the ground in the wet.
Because the problem as well is the run now goes around the stadium, which I reckon has a lot of those like pavers stuff, which is quite slippery in the wet. So I don't know which of those shoes has the better grip.
Between the Vaporfly and what?
Well, the
Alpha.
Next Percent 2 and the Alpha Fly.
Yeah, I don't think there is an answer for that.
Yeah, okay. No.
Good luck, Bradley.
Thank you.
Also, things coming up. Shoe Geeks is coming out next couple of days. That went to Patreon today. So you and Nitter, Tom Buchanan, are unavailable for this month, Moose. Hard man to pin
he's
down.
left us. Yeah, he left us.
I think I saw a photo of him at the beach or something today, though.
Yeah, mate, it's pretty bad.
Can't do Shoe Geeks just sitting on a beach somewhere.
Told us he was unavailable, then posted that. That ain't going down well.
We'll
I think we'll get a new
replace
third member. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And also Gold Coast Marathon weekend live show. Things are getting planned there. I think we've got a venue locked down. Just getting a few partners sorted, Bradley, and then we could probably go tickets next week, couldn't we?
Yeah. So I pretty much secured the venue. So I replied to the email today saying, "Yep, let's book it." So we'll announce the venue next week once they've got back to me and it's all confirmed.
Perfect. That's good. Looking forward to that. All right, we're done, boys. Enjoy your week. Anything coming up special between now and next week, other than the Sydney 10, of course?
Not for me. It's back to work.
Yeah. Watto's come down Anglesey. Yeah, I'm going to jump on the bike. Got some big work. He's getting fit, that boy. Doing Great Ocean Road Marathon. He's going real well, so I'll get on the bike with him. He's got a couple of big workouts down here.
I wouldn't mind seeing Elite Fields for that. Preview that before it happens. And also, Elite Fields for Sydney 10 Crokes. We've spoken about you, but who's headlining men's? Kieran Tall?
Well, he's
Jacob Cox?
He's the course record holder.
Kieran Perkins? Archie Reed? Nathan Stote?
Kieran Perkins?
Yep.
The swimmer.
Yeah. Lisa Waitman in the women's. Leanne Pompiani.
Yep.
Jessica Stenson scratching, I've heard.
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, no good.
No good there.
No, she's good. I think just wants to focus on training.
Putting some weeks together.
Yeah.
All right, boys. See you again next week. No interview this week, but we'll have one next week, I think. We're done.
Have a good week.
All right, see ya.
If New Balance only made one running shoe, it would be the 1080. It is their best running shoe, period. With fine-tuned underfoot cushioning and an overall streamlined look, the Fresh Foam X 1080 V12 represent a subtle but impactful evolution of the flagship Fresh Foam running shoe. The 1080 offers a supportive second skin style fit with an engineered Hypoknit upper for a more streamlined overall design.
So